Good day, guys. I am Gwenet Arotida from BSA AIS1 Block 2, and for today's video, I am going to discuss about the research process. Steps in doing a research. So, what is research? Research is a systematic method of inquiry and discovery which involves experiments, surveys, interviews, and data analysis for quantitative research and exploratory analysis for qualitative research. Research is systematic because it undergoes in a step-by-step process, and we cannot jump into conclusion without applying the other steps. What is research process? Research process is a process of multiple scientific steps in conducting the research work. Each step is interlinked with other steps. The process starts with the research problem at first, then it advances in the next steps sequentially. Generally, the researcher conducts research work within 7 steps. Steps of the research process. So these are the steps of the research process. Step 1. Identify and defining the research problem. The first step in the process is to identify a problem or develop a research question. The research problem may be something the agency identifies as a problem, some knowledge or information that is needed by the agency, or the desire to identify a recreation trend nationally. However, the research comes up with the ongoing phenomenon or issues. Your research may start as a general idea, topic, or a specific question, statement, or thesis. It is also important that you already know what you want to focus on before you begin so that you can proceed your research process without difficulty. Step 2. Review the literature. Once the research problem is identified and defined, the next step is to review the existing research. The researcher must learn more about the topic under an investigation. To do this, the researcher must review the literature related to the research problem. These steps provide foundational knowledge about the problem area. The review of literature also educates the researcher about what studies have been conducted in the past, how these studies conducted, and the conclusions in the problem area. Also, in reviewing literature, you need to get background information or sources which are relevant or direct to support your topic problem. Step 3. Formulating a hypothesis. In this step, the researcher makes the problem precise. It is important to consider that the research work is topic focused and refined. Then the researcher steps forward to how the problem would be approached. The nature of the research problem can decide to formulate a definite hypothesis. A hypothesis is tested. Effective research work formulates a hypothesis in such a way that collected factual data will provide evidence that either supports or disposes them. Formulation of hypotheses in research will make you more expert. Step 3. Research design. The researcher then must find out a research design. Research design provides how the research materials will be collected. One or more research methods, for example, experiment, survey, interview, etc., are chosen depending on the research objectives. In other words, the function of research design is to provide for the collection of relevant evidence with minimal expenditure of effort, time, and money. But now, all this can be achieved depends mainly on the research purpose. Research purpose may be grouped into 4 categories: exploration, description, diagnosis, and experimentation. Step 5. Carry out the research process. While the research design is decided, then the researcher collects data, records, or information. The researcher proceeds with the research. Practical difficulties may arise in this stage. For example, the research method may not suit properly. The interviewer might be unwillingly to let carry out the research as planned. Moreover, a false interpretation could potentially bias the result of the study. So when you collect data, you need to know the effective techniques of data collection in order to gather necessary and relevant information with regard to research. Step 6. Preparing research results. In this step, you must work out the implications of the data you gathered. It is hardly easy to clear out the implications of the gathered materials. While it is possible to clarify the research questions, some investigations are less conclusive. So, interpret your research results in order to report the findings. No matter what kind of research you are doing, there comes a moment when your head is full of ideas that originated from your analysis. Ideally, you will write them down as they come to you. Now, you need to convert the mass of those elements and ideas into a written text that makes sense to the reader and can do justice to your quest. And last, the step 7, reporting research findings. The final step of the research process outlined is to report the research findings. Describe the significance of the research study. Work out how do they relate to the previous research findings. This is the last stage in terms of the individual research project. Mostly, a research report discusses questions that remain unanswered and suggests further research in the future in general. Thank you, and I hope you learned something about my report. And again, I am Gwenet Ortida, and thank you.